contributes, which is our advocacy program. Another of our projects, which we are currently running, is the Edu Girls Nigerian project, which is our innovative project currently ongoing. And this project is aimed at providing safe learning space for girls in low-income community schools. And how do we do this? Like we know in Nigeria, football is known as a game of boys. When you go to a typical public school or a private school, primary and secondary, go into that place during the break time, you will notice the boys are the one playing football and the girls are around the stadium watching it. But we wanted to change that mindset. However, we wanted to build the self-esteem of the girls. We wanted to be that when you ask a question as a teacher in the classroom, you won't get 7 boys raising their hands and 3 girls. We wanted it to be balanced. 5 girls raising their hand and 5 boys, or even more girls raising their hands. But we noticed this thing cannot change just by us speaking to the girls. We needed to change the system. We needed to make them see it from the little things like the break time. And so we brought in football through the Educate Girls Nigerian project. And using football, we are training these girls on football. During break time in our schools now, you go and you watch the boys playing football with the girls, or the boys are watching the girls training. So this has built these girls over the years. Last year, we trained 50 of them, and 20 of these girls have grown their self-esteem, become various leaders, and have transitioned from primary school in St. Michael Altar to secondary schools, different secondary schools, with 7 of them having scholarships to go to the secondary school. So we are breaking the barrier using Educate Nigerian project, and currently we are now empowering 70 girls in Altar and Abeokuta due to the help of our sponsor from Argentina, and we are doing this to also ensure and expand it to beyond not just the 7 girls. So various of our projects have helped us reach 6,000 students over the 8 states.
Oh wow! I must say I'm blown away with the great work you're actually doing, and I think with this said, we can actually just end this particular conversation right now. Because if you've been able to reach out to that number of girls, especially girls out there, and I like the fact that you're using a strategy that is so unconventional, especially there's a mindset that the boys are the ones that are meant to play football, but now you are using that same football to engage the girls. I'm also going to let them know that I can actually do beyond just playing football. There are other things that probably the society, the patriarchal society, believe that only girls that can do them. But if I can play ball, well, okay, what else can't I do? What else can't I just do? So I actually do these sort of things, and I think that's really a very brilliant strategy. I must say, thank you so much, for what you're doing. And I don't know if you do this with Voice of the Young, but I know there was a time you launched an app. So maybe I'm trying to now force the words into your mouth this time around, because I know you might not be able to probably explain everything you've done, right? But I want to just probably touch on that. What exactly is this app all about? Maybe I'm sure that there might be people out there who would watch this and be able to pick 1 or 2 things from it.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, we did launch an app. Like I did mention earlier, our work at Base of the Young cuts across providing access to quality education, civic engagement, and now moving a bit with climate technology and ensuring girls are not marginalized. So under our civic engagement wing or team, we have been able to execute 2 successful projects. One is the Youth Let's Talk Politics, which since the 2018-2019 elections, we have been able to engage youth to ensure they participate actively in electoral processes. Now, to scale it further, we decided to launch our application in 2022, an application that will not just cover the youth. We are looking at marginalized groups. So a lot of Team Brace of the Young does is around the marginalized demographic: women, girls, youth, people with disabilities, and children. So we are focusing majorly on marginalized demography, and we launched the We Included app. It's called We Included because our target audience are people with disabilities, women, and youth. And why are we doing this? We noticed this demographic have been marginalized in Nigerian electoral space. A lot of time, people are campaigning, people are doing this stuff. They bring the youth to cause panic because they want to give them some small change. The women are just there. They exploit the uneducated women during elections. They don't hear the manifesto. They don't know what they are voting for, but you just want them to vote for a party. And when you come to people with disabilities, they are actually not allowed to vote systematically, because they will tell you, no, they are providing allowance for them, there's ballot papers for them. But when you get to an electoral the voting center, I as an electoral advocate and someone who has been on the field to observe election as an election observer, there are no ballot papers for people who are visually impaired. They will just bring one sample and show it to you. Secondly, some places I have been able to observe elections, the voting point is on a very high ground with no slope or proper place for people with disabilities to be able to access this. So we wanted to solve this problem, and we launched the We Included app. And what the We Included app does is to educate marginalized groups, particularly women, people with disabilities and youth, on electoral processes and electoral information. And secondly, help people with disability to locate voting centers that have access to facilities that support people with disabilities. Facilities like braille ballot papers, leveled playing ground for the electoral voting processes, and places that are not on high ground for those who can't see, where they have assistants, where they have translators on these places. So this was how the app came into place, and we launched the app in 2023, which we did use to do our first minimum viable product in 2023 election, and we were able to engage over 2,000 people with disabilities across various states on this application alone, and they shared their experiences, which is part of the problem we noticed. A lot of these places where INEC tell you that, oh, we are supporting people with disabilities, there's braille ballot papers, there are translators, there's this, there's that. When you get there, they are not actually there. In short, it is as worse as that. When you get to some voting centers in Nigeria, they don't know that people with disabilities are not supposed to queue on the same line as others active voting lists. But we notice this is not the case, and we always make sure. So the app is majorly to provide information, educate the marginalized group, and also provide them with the right polling center or voting center that could provide access and knowledge to people with disabilities, because we notice they get angry, they get agitated when they get there and they notice that what they were told during the meetings with INEC is not the reality.
Yeah. All right. Wow, thank you so much. It gladdens my heart, knowing that, with this app that you developed in 2022, you were able to deploy it and use it during the 2023 general election in Nigeria, and you were able to engage with over 2,000. Yeah, I think you said 2,000 persons with disability, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is fantastic. It is fantastic. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us and you're wondering what exactly is going on right now, who is this person talking? Yes, I am glad to have with me Obasanjo Fajemirokun. That is the founder and executive director of Raise Up the Young. Yes, so I've been having this wonderful conversation with Obasanjo about the work he is doing and his organization does, to reach out to young people, especially with focus on education and touching with people, marginalized people in our society. And I must say that in case you didn't join us earlier, you need to go back and watch this from the beginning, because a lot of insights are being shared here right now, and I will tell you that you don't want to miss them. Yes, and please, if you're also just joining, once again, do not forget to share this conversation right now to your friends. Let them know about this conversation right now. You can also help to do what to like, so that the algorithm can also help us to push this to more people. And do not forget to subscribe. Yes, because it's also very important when you subscribe. We do this every week so that when we have a wonderful session like this, you do not get left out. Yes, so Obasanjo, we've taken the interesting parts of your story, your success stories, the impact you're making. There's this question I like to ask people, has it always been rosy? How has it been for you? I am in Nigeria. I know that you're also in Nigeria. The organization is in Nigeria, and I can relate with what it takes, when you're trying to actually do something good. So sometimes it seems even almost difficult more trying to do good. So how has been your own experience? What are the challenges that you have faced, or you are still facing right now, doing the work that you do?
Well, has it always been rosy? I would definitely say no. As an entrepreneur, especially in Nigeria, you have to be always ahead because we have a lot of challenges, financial, team management. You're also going into legal, putting your books together. Everything seems like it's crashing on your head as an entrepreneur. It has not been rosy, but part of some few challenges we have faced over these years is number one, financial challenges. We have actually have a lot of financial challenges as a non-profit. We have to raise funds, we have to get funds, and right now the non-profit space is changing to social entrepreneurship, which is now making us change our entire model and helped us launch our new college, which is our secondary school in Abeokuta. But away from this, we are still making impact, and we have been able to mitigate a lot of these stress challenges. Secondly, I also know of putting the right team together is also a major challenge, which we don't speak so much about in Nigeria, because as a growing organization, you don't have the money to compete with international organizations who are already operating in the non-profit space in Nigeria and the social space, and they can pay more than you, offer a lot of space, HMOs and all those stuff, all these benefits than you as a growing startup. But you have this challenge, but you still have to give the best and try to retain your best staff, and also encourage those who want to leave to get the best they can be. Part of also what we have is the complex space. The challenges we face is a complex entrepreneurship space in Nigeria. There are too many laws, too many policies, too many tax systems you have to abide by, too many rules. A policy can just start up tomorrow that could crash your business. And these are all challenging, and shows that as an entrepreneur, you have to be up and doing, knowledgeable. You have to know what is really, 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 really going on. And I think another part also is the networking space. We don't see networking as a challenge in Nigeria, but the truth is our space, if you are in the space, this civic space is not that free to network, and you have to really go the extra mile to network, because a lot of access to opportunities you will get is through those that know your work. And it goes beyond just social media. People can be seeing you on social media in the space, but don't know what you are doing. So you have to go the extra mile to really interact with people, share your work, and do this stuff. And sometimes you are not being selected, not because they don't know you, not because you don't do the work, but because they don't know that you do this work. And so visibility is also a part where we are grappling with, and you always have to put yourself out there, even for someone who doesn't like posting or sharing, and you have to balance that with your way. So I think these are the few challenges I have come to face over the years. And technology, some social entrepreneurs, we call in technology as a challenge, but for me, I see technology as an enabler and not a challenge. And so I won't be putting that into my lists.
Okay. Yes, so I see you've actually mentioned a couple of things. And before I get into the next question about probably what you have been doing to overcome some of these challenges. You mentioned something about getting the right networks and getting the right visibility where you're able to put your work out there. And just like you also mentioned, how technology can also be like a major challenge to some people out there. This is just me trying to let people also know that this is some of the challenges that Obasanjo had rightly mentioned. The challenges that we at Coappt, that we are trying to solve. You're able to, understand what it takes to engage. Just like you said, people are like, I don't like to. I don't like. I'm not really a social media person. And you're like, okay, you're actually doing a lot. In fact, I remember a woman I saw who runs. I think it's more like, in fact, it is not even formal. It's just an informal setting where she pays school fees for some kids. I think she has about 30 of them or so, and she doesn't even have a social media platform. And when we had the conversation, I'm like, what? Are you like, man, are you serious? You sponsor 30 kids? You know, I was just like, this can't be happening. So, and you know, she also spoke about, you know, trying to get fund. I'm like, if you're not putting your work out there, how then can you get the right support that you know you really need? So this is what we at Coappt, this is what we are doing, you know, connecting social impact professionals, organizations, and enthusiasts to resources and to tools and the community, you know, needed to succeed. So that's just me just having to talk about Coappt a little bit. Okay, now back to you, Obasanjo. Now with these different dimensions of challenges that you've you know mentioned, from funding to accessibility, visibility, you know, networking, and the rest that you mentioned. You know, I know that you probably have been able to identify ways, you know, to overcome, if not all of them, but probably some of them to a larger extent. I would like to share, you know, with someone out there probably who is watching, and probably they, you know, they have similar, you know, challenges like yours, and they're wondering, okay, how can I get through this? But probably you have done one or two things that if you, oh, okay, with this I was able to overcome this particular challenge. With this I was able to overcome this particular challenge. I would like to share with us some of, you know, the ways to which, you know, you have been able to overcome some of these challenges.
Okay, so how do you overcome some of this challenge? Okay, so there's no one way fits all. So I'm going to share my own personal experience. So one way I've been able to overcome most of this challenge is to be ahead. And when I've been being ahead is trying to envisage future problems and trying to do things that could solve it. And I'm going to give you various examples. So for my team, from the day one, I've been trying to be intentional about building teams that could take over Raise Up the Young. And so sometimes in some meetings, I send some of my team members, oh, go and see this, be here. As a founder, I could say you don't have to be at every meeting. Your team members can represent you, unless key meetings where they say, okay, we need you as the founder to come in. So I try to put up my team. I try to give them opportunity to grow. I try to, but that shouldn't stop you. That should even make sure it builds your organization better. It depends on how you just leverage it. Secondly, is to be ahead in terms of finance. So part of what I do is to apply for grants. We apply for grants every month. Yes, we do apply for up to 10 grants every month or 5 grants, depending on if we meet the possibilities or opportunities. And also we engage our past grants organizations. We engage them, send them our past reports, give them, this is what we have done, this is where we are. And some say, oh, yes, I think we like this, your new project, we'd like to jump on. Can we have a call? Can we do this? Can we do that? And that helps me keep ahead. So I don't wait for things for them to ask me, oh, where's the report? Where it is? I like sending the report ahead of time. For other solutions like the tech solution, thank God we have organizations like Coappt. For me, what I've tried to do is to always be hearing how tech impacts my work. How tech impacts my work is a very, very important stuff, not just my organization, but my work. So one thing we have done for Raise Up the Young is we always have remote team members. So all our team members are not in Ogun State. So most of our team members are not in Ogun State. So we get remote team members to work, and we have been using tech to adapt our ways. However, new projects such as our Raise Up the Young College, which is a starting secondary school, is now needing physical workers and ensuring that. So what we do is to change the hybrid into an hybrid model. We just don't depend on grants for the school. We also receive low-cost based school fees, very low-cost school fees from the student to ensure that it is sustainable. So I think solutions I would have just said is be ahead of your network, be ahead of your work, try and connect. A lot of opportunities and funding I've gotten has been from the little network I've known, and they'll say, oh, Obasanjo, I think your organization does this, you will fit into this opportunity, take this, apply for this, try this out, I will speak to this person, I will talk to this person for you, and this has really helped build us. And also, one thing I also say is whenever you are given any recommendation or work to do it well. It will solve most of the challenges we are facing, because if you keep disappointing those who are recommending you, nobody will recommend you again. And networking helps you open doors, like knowing organizations such as Coappt, joining fellowships will help you know where there are new teams, where there are new funds, and even faster way to get things done. It will really help. So I think those are the ways I have been able to leverage and solve most of these challenges we have gotten.
Wow, thank you so much. while you were mentioning those ways you've been able to overcome the challenges, I had to start writing them down because in case someone missed them. So I want to just repeat that, please. In case you missed what I just said, he stated, I think I put them into 6 different categories. Number 1 is apply for grants. Yes, I think it was someone who posted online sometimes said, you know what, while you're trying to bootstrap, yes, especially if you're a social entrepreneur, trying to bootstrap, you're trying to use your money, do this, do that from your own money, apply for grants. Even though people call it free money, even though it is not totally what's it called? It's not totally free money. It helps you a lot. Takes up a lot of burden from you. You get so. And another thing you mentioned is accountability. Very, very important. You have to be accountable. You have to be transparent with the money that's been given to you. You're told to do X, Y, Z. Do it properly. Account for it. Let the people be impressed with the work you've done. And you also spoke about remote work. Yes, being able to also engage people. Just like you mentioned earlier, people are this space. You're unable to pay people because you can't do the work alone, of course. And one of the ways you can do that is also engaging people remotely, where you don't have to go through a lot of overhead, engage with a lot of overhead costs to get the work done, and you can still get things done with the little people you have. Engage volunteers, engage interns. There are a lot of people that can pick experience from the organization, and that can help them to grow, while you also give them opportunities also to grow. And you made a statement that I really share a lot of sentiment with, is that you don't have to be the one to always do things, because you are the founder, so everything rises and falls on you. Yes, I know it was John C. Maxwell that said that everything rises and falls on leadership. Yes, but by that leadership, it also means that you've been able to delegate responsibility. Yes, so that you're only expecting accountability from those that work with you. Yes, you also spoke about venturing into other ventures, that can help. I'm one strong advocate of that. As a non-profit, doesn't mean that if there are things you can do that can support organization. Like you run a school, which is fantastic. At least there's something you can use to sustain and that financial sustainability for your organization. This is very, very important. And thank you so much. And I think 2 more things you spoke about, connect with networks, organizations, fellowship. Yes, because they would always come handy. See, I personally did not realize this early enough. But the moment I realized that being part of a network, and not just being part, some people are just in networks, they're just passive members, they're not active. When I realized that you have to be active, my God, it has its own way of also helping you out. And lastly, that you mentioned is do the past work. Every work they have been given, do them well. Do them well. It's very, very, very important. Very, very important. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I have been having this wonderful conversation with Obasanjo Fajemirokun, the founder and executive director of Coappt the Young. And it's been an insightful, enlightening, educative, empowering session so far. And personally, also, I am learning, a lot from this session right now. Okay, Obasanjo, I want us to get into some kind of topical issues right now. As someone who works in Nigeria, and I know currently, your work has transcended beyond Nigeria. Yes, you also now acquiring more knowledge outside Nigeria. I don't know if I should want to be saying that actually, but just admit me to just put that out there. Now, so you're having a what's it called, a view beyond the local understanding in Nigeria. I can boldly see now you're having a global perspective to issues, because studying outside Nigeria now, you're able to relate with things beyond how local view, and not just because you are doing this outside Nigeria, but because you're also meeting with people from different countries, of the world who you are studying with. Our educational system, as somebody who works within the educational system, how will you say that education in Nigeria currently, how in your own opinion, as someone who has seen, let me say, two sides of the coin now, I want to give a comparative analysis about Nigeria educational system compared to what you are experiencing right now. And to put some level of context to this, because I have a lot of students, who go outside Nigeria, study outside Nigeria, and I believe that acquiring the foundational knowledge in Nigeria, I'm seeing the way we do this. A lot of us will go out there and we excel. And then, in fact, there are thousands of Nigerian youths out there, excelling academically. So, I want you to give us a comparative analysis about this experience. Your experience. How is it actually? How is it? I'm not even sure how to probably frame the question again. Actually, all right. I think you get my question right.
Yeah. Well, that's a very big question to analyze. It can take a few minutes, but I'll try and summarize. So for context, I'm schooling currently in the University Mohammed VI Polytechnic in Morocco. Is one of the best universities in Morocco, and we use the French educational system, which is quite good. And comparing it to Nigeria, well, I won't make a direct comparison, but first of all, Nigeria education system is good. However, it could get better, and this is what education advocates like myself has been advocating for, whereby we need to change a lot of things in Nigeria with education system. First of all, we need to start from our curriculum. We need to understand that the curriculum we have been using is a pre-1999 curriculum when we were building workmen to work in industries. Right now, the world has moved beyond building workmen into building entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. So we must revamp that curriculum from our primary to the universities days. And I could tell you, I was still sitting with some friends this year, and we are listing some subjects in secondary and primary school in which we don't know the help of this subject in our lives. If I ask you, you can list how many subjects you know that you did, and you don't even know how to apply them currently. And so what we are trying to say is, how can we make it better? We cannot remove the entire education system. The British system works and it's good. And that's why, like you have attested, Nigerians, when they learn, they go to further countries and they even excel. A third class in Nigeria would pass better in other countries. But however, I noticed a sharp contrast between, let's even take our examination alone. How the examination questions are being asked. I've written two semester exams in Morocco. The exams are totally different. In the Nigerian education system, you still be saying define, elucidate, expatiate, do this, do that. Can you list the types? Can you state the difference?
Yeah.
In the French education system, nobody asks you to define. They don't want to know the definition. They are telling you, okay, with the knowledge you have learned in strategic management, this organization is having this problem. How can you solve the problem?
So more like they give you case studies. So yes, it's more like practical.
So they are already programming you to be a solution provider from the school system. You are not coming to define what is strategic management. They don't want to know what is operations management. They want to know how will you apply operations management to the current problem. Like my department, I'm doing Masters in International Management. All our exams are carrying live case studies. We did one on Elon Musk during the COVID-19 where he laid off staffs and because he asked them to come and resume, and the law in the country says they are not to resume, and he had to lay them off. And we're talking about ethical theories and ethical dilemmas. Now, these are live case studies. They are real case studies. But how many case studies in Nigeria do we even know about Nigerian companies? We have the Elumelus, we have Dangote, we have Ua, we have Asman. Have we been able to bring their companies into case studies and give people studying business admin like myself in schools in Nigeria to solve real problems? If we are doing that, the moment you leave, you won't even be thinking of applying for work. You will be creating a job already that is solving this company's problem. So the education system, there's a sharp contrast between what we are studying abroad and what we are doing in Nigeria. Nigeria is still a bit around the workman world. I want to know if you can explain. I want to know if you can define. No. So the problem is they have taught you.
Your intellectual capacity is being tested by your ability to explain, not in your ability to apply the knowledge
you have learned. Basically, that is still one of the problems, because we have seen various questions on Twitter. If you go to Twitter, you see various surprising questions in Nigerian exams in the universities. I'll be like, come on, why are you asking these questions when we can be asking questions like, okay, Nigerian inflation for economic students, we are one of the highest inflation rates in Nigeria currently. How do you propose the government to solve this? Should be what we are seeing in the exams. Not about, can you define inflation? How many types of inflation do we have? Hyperinflation, galloping. We don't need those things again. Now the world is coming, and that's why ChatGPT will continue being a problem. AI will continue being a problem in the Nigerian context, because it's just define, explain, and all these lists and explain and all those elucidate, big English kind of exams. Where ChatGPT, if you just type it there to give them, and they'll drop it and pass. But however, can you ask the questions that even AI will have to think to solve it? Contextual problem, where AI doesn't know so much. Even AI will struggle to solve it. Then at that point, the student has to think. And this is what, even from the primary schools, I've read case studies. I've never been to China, but I've read case studies of China in primary and secondary school where their children are already coupling tech gadgets together in secondary school. Yet you expect a Nigerian student in secondary school who is struggling to even pass JAM to compete on the global stage with the Chinese counterparts. And so we used to say there's a disadvantage for the Nigerian students when you're even going abroad. It took me months to balance into the French education system, because I was explaining, when you read for the exam, and you just see a very simple question, but you need 20 minutes to understand it before you even answer, because they are not asking you to define. So I think that's a sharp difference I've seen in the education.
And I totally agree with you. I must say, I agree with you. You know, interestingly, when you started mentioning the need to take case studies more like, especially from the aspect of business, using people, individuals who are actually successful already, you know, probably taking them and studying their model, that business model. I think it was not even I think, because it's someone I follow so much. That's Tony Elimelu. He's currently my role model. Who sometimes posted about, I think it was Harvard University, that they I can't remember the way you put it, but like I think they have like a course or what, I can't totally remember, but like a case study about him, about like his model. And I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, if Harvard University could do this, but here we have is our own, but we can't even have intellectuals, you know, academians, you know, sit down and look at this person. Look at Dangote, for example. How has he been able to transit from just, in fact, I'm not even sure of Dangote's qualification. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure. I've never heard of Dangote. Probably is the university he went to or whatever. But the thing there is that Dangote, when you want to mention the successful businessman, probably later in his life he went to study business. But I'm not even sure about Dangote has gone to study your business, master of business administration. I'm not sure. Probably maybe some executive MBA or so. But the point I'm trying to make is that he has lines of business from FMGC to now refinery, you know, to a couple of other things like that. So you totally have a point. You know, there's this joke about items or equipment are being produced, they are being made outside Nigeria, the Western world, Europe, and the Asian countries. But when we get here, we are not trying to study. I know it sounds like a joke. It sounds like I'm making a joke of the country, but I think it's just what it is actually. I hope we overcome that very soon. Well, with people like you, you know, in the educational system, you know, getting involved, you know, bringing in technology, bringing in unconventional method, like just like you explained to us, using football to bring girls, you know, into education and the rest of that. I think we can say that the future is brighter for our educational system. And I think I'm closing up on the question right now. And the next question I want to ask, you know, talking about, you know, the work you do with on education, especially now with girls. As someone who is an advocate of women's rights, girls' rights, equality, I'm just concerned, and I want to ask, what do you think will be the way forward, for us as a country, to engage our young girls more? Now, the reason I'm asking this question is because, this thing, if you empower a man, you empower, I think, a family, or if you empower a woman, you're actually empowering the nation, because you're not just empowering, in fact, you're empowering generations. Yes, so, and with this in mind, I have that concern that how do we empower more girls, to be educated? The statistics for our children, I may not be able to put a particular figure to it, but I believe that out of that number of out of school children or out of school youths that we have out there, the percentage of those who are girls or who are female, let me put it that, who are female, is going to be more. So how are we able to solve this problem so that we can have more young girls, more female youths, to be more important?
Okay, so this is a very good question, and I think I will still go back to what you said. First, I will start by saying the first thing I will say, how are we going to empower more women, is we need to share stories about women who are powerful and who have done great things. There's a wrong narrative on social media that the successful women are the girls who are wayward, who are opening their bodies on social media because they are the one buying the cars, doing that, and
doesn't want to get married.
Yes, so there's a wrong narrative. Now, the government must be intentional of putting the right narrative. I got to know a lot about women in Africa who has made a lot of change, not just by hearing the name in social studies, but reading their profiles, reading their case study through the Yaga program, which ensured we studied about 10 women like Queen Amina and the rest from Africa. Now, the Nigerian government and the education advocates or educationists in Africa, how are we promoting our women? We have a lot of stories to tell. We have a lot of stories. We have the oil mogul, which is one of the richest black women. We have, I've forgotten her name. I'm trying to remember her name, in Nigeria. She's from Nigeria. How are we sharing her story? We need to, because the point is, the stories you share are what the coming generation look into. If you share stories of corrupt people, the next generation will be corrupt more. Because they are looking at, you are sharing stories of people they should be looking up to. So what stories are the government sharing? What are we trying to paint for the women? It's very intentional. Now we are seeing this old painting of the negative feminism part in Nigeria of women don't have to marry, women don't have to marry. But can we paint women who are successful? Who are successful irrespective of whether they marry or they don't marry? What they are doing, we have over how many banks being run by women in Nigeria? Their GMDs are women. Dangote group of companies is run by women, which is actually one of my family members, which I just discovered, a distant relative, a Fajemirokun, which I discovered. Okay. You understand? But the question is, how many Nigerians know this? What is their stories? We need to be intentional, because see, the point is, the stories you share influence it in the next generation. Secondly, we need to empower women beyond just education. And when I'm saying beyond education, when you say the government empowering women, they'll say, oh, we have enrolled them in school. But how many are learning in school? How many are being empowered in school? What is their self-esteem like, even while in school? But we need to empower women financially. I was speaking with some feminists in quote and unquote, and I told them, if you want to stop the issue of molestation and all that, empower women financially. Let women be able to have their own money, control their own finance, and no man can control them. No man can control them. If I don't have to depend on you for money, then you can't control me. That's why we say he who pays the piper determines the tune. So can we empower women, educate them, empower them financially? And also, education can never be overflowed. Now, when we talk about education, we are talking beyond just financial education, formal education. We have the informal, the financial, the civic education. How many women can boldly contest election? in Nigeria. We need to promote the number of women. The government need to honor their allocation of ministerial slots and appointees for women offices. Now, these things look little. Instead of 3.5%, we are just giving them 1% because of this, because of that. But what you are trying to tell people, the coming generation, is that it's only the men that can rule. It's only the men that can lead. Whereby we have seen countries like the countries from the Sweden and all those other countries, they are led by women prime ministers, and these countries are doing well. Their GDP are increasing. So who says a woman cannot lead a country politically? Who says a woman cannot be a governor? How many female governors do we have in Nigeria? How many? We can count how many ministers are females. How many House of Rep members? How many senators? So we need to go beyond just this. There are also, I think we need to also be coming up with a lot of policies that will ensure that every government stick with their statutory rights of appointees to be female. And also every state must ensure 50% are females. We must now start doing gender parity. How many are females? When we promote this, especially, believe me, you will do less even in educating people. Because why? Most of these things are becoming all of a mental structure. And the problem with mental structure is that it becomes systemic. And it is very hard to change systemic, which is what we call wicked problems. A problem that is not written anywhere, but it is just there that women cannot rule. Now, it is very hard to remove from people's mind that women cannot rule until a woman gets there and rule. So if there are no policies to ensure women have this opportunity to get to this table, then we are not helping them. Because now these girls we are training in our edu girls, we are training them to be leaders, we are empowering them, their morale is already high, and they get to some offices and they're telling them, sorry, this chair is only for a man, but you can be the VP. Who says that? Which law is saying that? Which law says a woman cannot lead? We have the Merkel of Germany, or is it of England? We have this strong women. We have seen Amina of Nigeria, how she's doing in the United Nations, where there are member nations from various countries, and she's performing great.
Excellent.
So who says
Obasanjo of what trade?
Yes, Obasanjo Iweala and the rest. You get Mrs. Uju Awoka, of who is an essay to the president, doing great in the public health field in Nigeria currently. And we have seen these people over and over, but the question is, how many of them can we promote? A lot of these women have capacity, but they just sit within their silos. Because why? There is this unwritten law, which has become a system, that in that company, the man will be the head at the end. So we need to break this. And that's why I like what we are seeing in the financial institutions. And this also goes back to what I'm saying about the case studies we use in school have been painting men to be rulers. We have these case studies. The apprenticeship system we are talking about in the southeastern Nigeria is studied in Harvard. How many schools in Nigeria are studying the apprenticeship system, which has provided a lot of billionaires year in, year out in southeastern Nigeria? But how many is it? And most of the apprentices are also females who have learned these things, who have become successful trade women, going to buy things in China, in Hong Kong, in different countries, in Dubai. But how many do we know? Can we list one or two names? We don't even know them. Because why? Our education system is not studying them. So we need to change these things. We need to change these things. And it's a systemic problem. The problem with system problems is that it is very hard to break. We must be intentional of saying, policies will go a long way. If there's a policy to come down. But when we say, we want to change it, we can change it from our company. Yes, we are already doing that. We are already giving women the opportunities. But if the government can come up with policies and say, from every state, 50% political office, whether it's elected or selected or appointed, must go to women, then we are one step ahead.
Wow. I must say that you are really dropping some kind of bombshells right now, because sincerely speaking, this is a very interesting conversation, and when you started from the conversation about the changing the narrative, I couldn't have agreed less that the need to be intentional about how we communicate, more like, I think I'll put this like positive narration or positive communication. We We don't always have to talk about the negative. Yeah, the negative things are there. There's nothing we can do about them. They are there. But can we push more of the positive narrative to encourage more young girls when they see these wonderful women who are actually doing it already? How can they also get motivated, by this? Just like you mentioned, majority of our financial institutions right now are being led by women. Majority of them are being led by women. So, and another interesting thing you spoke about is the need to empower beyond education. Yes, and I totally agree with you also, because this focus on education, we kind of forgetting that the education goes beyond just classroom education. Yes, we need them to be educated. But what happens to after putting a girl in a classroom, and yet the marginalization, the discrimination still follows her to the classroom, where she's still discriminated? Yes, she's educated. Now, a lot of them are not educated, but those who are even educated, they are still being marginalized, even within the educational system. So, and yes, the government should also honor the gender balance. Yes, gender balance administration, very, very important. I was on ground, that should be 2021, if I remember, or 2022, if I remember very well. No, that should be 2021, yes. When in Nigeria here, we had the Manifesto Coalition, in Abuja, pushing for the 5 gender bills, 35%, and what's it called? Affirmative action, I think 111 seats, special seats, and a couple of other things, like nationality for spouse of females, spouse are non-Nigerians, and a couple of other things like that. And I must say that it's so unfortunate that even till today, the conversation is still there, and it's just so unfortunate. And yeah, policies should be enacted. Yeah, policies to make this more intentional, and also to get rid of those unwritten laws. And that part, when you said that, I just kept thinking that, so we have some laws which are actually not written, which we are not even. It's not like they are somewhere. The society has just, on its own, just put them out there, and we are all conforming to it, and just follow, and it seems like we can't do without them. So I know this. I wish that we can going with this conversation actually, because it's really an interesting one that I'm so passionate about, and I'm sure that our viewers will agree that this is quite engaging and interesting. Also to notice that you are hearing guys talking about this. It's interesting to know that these guys are talking about this. So it's not a conversation that is an event for only the female. What can they find their battles? No. It's not telling find their battles. We are all together. We are going to, we are married, and we want the generation after us to be better. And thank you so much, Obasanjo, for the great work you're doing and for this wonderful insights that you've shared with us. I totally enjoyed myself, and I have my notes. I just kept writing while you're talking, because this is a conversation that are actually going to be very useful for me outside this. So I'm not just here to ask questions. I'm always here also to learn, because I believe it's also going to help to shape my own understanding and knowledge, as I proceed with the work I do. Thank you so much, for the knowledge and insight you really shared with us. Yes, to our viewers out there, yes, thank you so much, for staying true till this time. If you're probably watching this as a replay, please feel free to drop your comments, and if you're watching us live, you're free to drop your comments, your questions, and we'll be sure to, attend to them. Yes, and please do not forget to share this with your friends, with your frenemies. I believe you don't have enemies actually. Just share it with everybody around you, to your reference networks. Let them learn from this. If you have someone who probably do not understand what it takes, to build a society, this is why we are doing this, to be able to have more people understand social development and how they can also play their part, no matter how big or small, it might be. And yes, Pastor John, before I let you go, I'm sure you've seen our conversation, Coappt in Pat's Corner, and yes, we have it here today. I always like to get a review from our guests about, Coappt Impact Corner. So, in your own way, or your own thinking, what do you think about, Coappt Impact Corner? Let me allow you.
Well, so I think it's great. It's a great job. First of all, let me commend you for the great work. You are not just providing solutions to most of the entrepreneurs' problems and organizations' problems, but you're also sharing the stories. Like I've shared even during this place, narratives matter a lot, and we need to share stories of the good things people are doing in Nigeria. We need to make the world see what people are doing and the little people are doing. It's very, very important. So I think I'll commend Coappt Impact Corner for the great job, and it's good. I will advise you keep on doing this great work. I know it's not easy bringing something so innovative to Nigeria and in the space where we don't understand this kind of stories and this kind of narratives and what your business model looks like and all those stuff. But just keep doing it, keep going on. A lot of people need Coappt solutions. A lot of people need the help that they will get, because it's not easy, like we have mentioned and highlighted, running businesses in Nigeria. But I know with you keep sharing the stories through the Impact Corner and also keep providing solutions to organizations, we will thrive and we will get to where we want to get to in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Obasanjo, for that wonderful review. I'm glad that what we are doing is being valued, and we are able to contribute our own quota. Yes, so our job majorly is to help those who are working to make the society better. Our own job is to support them, provide them with that technical knowledge, with that technological solutions and services that they need. So, like I always like to say, that we are good in tech. We are good in tech. Yeah, so so our focus is majorly to work with organizations, professionals, enthusiasts within the social impact space, be it for profit or non-profit, actually, to help you with the technological solutions and services that you need, connect you to the tools, to the resources, and to the network that you need to succeed, especially in the space of technology, because that is where we feel that there are a lot of lacunas, and I believe if you're able to get them right, other things you don't be able to get them right. Also, just like Obasanjo mentioned, when he was talking about these challenges, finances, fundings, and a couple of them, we believe that majority of these things, if you understand how to make use of social media, for example, how you can tell your story properly and somebody else sees it, you can solve the problem of funding. Somebody else can see what you're doing and feel, oh, okay, I love what you did. Can I support you to do this better? That is why we are trying to, we are here for you. Looking at for visibility. How do you get that visibility? Looking at connecting with platforms. How do you get connected to networks and every resources you might need? That is what we do at Coappt Impact Corner, at Coappt Solutions. And at Coappt Impact Corner, it's just for us to spotlight great minds, personalities, change makers, tell their stories, let them tell their stories to the world as a way of us contributing, to the work they are doing. And thank you so much once again, Obasanjo, for availing yourself to us today. I know you're so it's very busy actually, and it's always a pleasure to have people join us regardless of the time, to share their knowledge and story with us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this. We appreciate it. We don't take this for granted. And one of these days, we look forward to being able to engage you, in other conversations, probably with what you do, and see how we can, work together for a better educational system in Nigeria and even across the world. Thank you so much, Obasanjo. I really appreciate you for your time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a wonderful time with Obasanjo. And once again, in case you do not know, I am Gio Lawal, and it's been a pleasure, as always, to be the host of the Coappt Impact Corner. I have with me my colleague, who is always at the background, providing the necessary support to make sure that things go on right. And I'm talking about no other person than Samuel Sawyer, like what is saying, the man behind the camera, it's the mighty force behind the camera, making sure that when I'm standing here, things are going on fine. Yeah, thank you so much, Samuel, and thank you to all the Coappt team, for the great work you are all doing to make sure that the society is better. And before I let you go, please don't forget that, yes, Coappt Solutions, in partnership with South Africa Initiative for Development, we are currently running the Artificial Intelligence Revolution Youth Project, which currently we are engaging students in 6 institutions in Lagos State, where we are bringing the conversation about artificial intelligence revolution to them. How young people can begin to move into the world of artificial intelligence, get aware, and see how they can use AI to solve societal problems. And interestingly, we started already with the Lagos State University of Science and Technology, and I think tomorrow we'll be moving to Yaba College of Technology, and next week is a very full week for us. We'll be moving to Lagos State University, we'll be moving to University of Lagos, and also be engaging Lagos State University of Education. Yes, so it's a very packed engagement, and currently we have over 3,000 students who are registered for this particular program. Just last week, we engaged over 300 students in Lagos State University of Science and Technology, and we are looking forward to be able to engage the over 3,000 students that we have who are showing interest. So please, in case you're looking for means of you like to partner with us, you like to engage with us on this project, please feel free to reach out to us at Coappt so that we can get the necessary people aware about this. Thank you so much once again for another interesting session. I am G.O. Laval. Thank you, and see you next session or next episode. Bye for now.